Hello and welcome to this new episode of Hybrid Cloud.business. Today we're going to talk about control in the cloud. Who controls what and what is in your hands. And this is very, very important, particularly in this time of cybersecurity threats where we need to focus on protecting our data, protecting our assets. Therefore, we need to understand who controls what. When you look at the typical traditional computing model that you have here, you see that there are different layers basically that you can control. So if you run your own infrastructure on premises, you control almost everything. Now, depending on the model, whether you're running platform as a service, software as a service, or infrastructure as a service, then you will control different layers and the cloud provider will control different layer. Let's take an email as a service, for example, which is completely software as a service. You may say, hey, you know what? I don't control anything. Basically, the software is controlled by the provider down to the hardware. So SaaS is completely outside of my hand. Well, actually, this is wrong. This is wrong because you may not have a complete cybersecurity landscape around your email. And therefore, if there is no filtering done at the email server, filtering spam, filtering viruses, malware, all sorts of malware, then basically you're unprotected. So yes, you may run in the cloud, you may think you're protected, but this is not defense in depth. So you need really to understand where you put control and where you don't have control. Another example is basically putting rights of access to files that you're sharing on a file sharing share. So if you, for example, give write access to your peers, then anybody will have the right to update those files. And therefore, if an identity is compromised, then that identity may be used to write files. So you need to have a really, really careful thought on what you do and who does what and who controls what in the cloud. Because it's not because the provider will say, well, you're fully protected, that you really are, okay? It's really thinking in depth of what is protected and asking questions, Are we protected? Who protects what? What is rights management about? Where are the viruses protection and everything? So you need to understand really what to do and what not to do. If you're running a database in the cloud, you may not need to have care about updates. But all those questions need to be asked, and depending on the model, you may or not have the control. So think about the model you're running and you're executing on. Think about where security is placed and therefore make decision on where to get really, really protected in depth. With that, thank you very much and let's see each other next week. Ciao.